Hi there, welcome to this tutorial on Prison Break, a multi-choice quiz format from Tutor2U. Just before I explain how we use and set up the resource, let me tell you a couple of things that you need to do before the start. You're going to need to print off a couple of the slides that are here as part of this PowerPoint. This final slide, which I'll call the placemat, you need one of these for each of the small teams that you're going to set up in your class. So imagine you've got teams of maybe 3 or 4 students, however many of those you need. And then also you're going to need the same number of this sheet here. Each has got these 16 prisoner cards on them. So you need to print this off for each team and then cut up these individual prisoners so that you've got 16 of those for each team. Okay then, back to the first slide. I've restarted my PowerPoint slideshow. I'm going to click this click here to start, and a little explanation of how the game works will scroll along the bottom of the screen here, and you can read that and show it to your students as they're watching this first slide. Okay, the basic idea is there's going to be 8 sections to the prison that your students and their team are trying to break out of. At each section they'll get a new multi-choice question with 4 possible answers, and what they have to do is they take the prisoners that they've got and they spread them over that placemat. Remember, the placemat had A, B, C and D on, and they're allowed to put the prisoners that they've got on those spaces, so they don't have to put them all on to the one answer that they think is correct. So if they thought it was answers B, C and D, they can spread their prisoners over those 3. They can't spread them over 4 though, they have to place them only on 3 out of the 4. So if I just start the first question, for example, here we go, there's my question, here's my 4 possible answers, and the students start off with 9 prisoners, and I'll explain why it's 9 in a minute. So they start off with 9 prisoners, there's the question, there's a little bit of music in the background that tells the students how long they've got to make their decision, and eventually that time runs out and they must place their prisoners over the 3 out of the 4 possible answers. So let's imagine that they've got these 9 prisoners and they've spaced them over B, C and D there because they're not sure about what the answer is. They've put 3 on each. We'll reveal the answer, and there's our answer, answer B. What that would mean is the students lose all of the prisoners that were put onto the wrong answers, so they would be left with only 3. Okay, so they'd be left with only 3. Now it could be that they'd placed all 9 prisoners on the wrong answers and they'd have no prisoners left at the end of this first section. And that's why I've said you need to save some of the prisoners for the next question. At the beginning of each new question, they get a brand new prisoner. So they carry forward however many they had left from the last section. So in the case, as I explained to you before, 3, and they add on 1 more of the extra prisoners. So they're finding a new prisoner in each section. That's how it's explained in the instructions. So now they've got 4, and they'd place them over 3 out of the 4 possible answers again. So let's imagine that they've put 2 on answer B, 2 on answer C. Let's reveal our answer. It's answer C this time, so they've got 2 left. Move on to the next question. Bring their 2 forward. Add a brand new prisoner again, so they've got 3 at this stage. So they've always got at least 1 prisoner at the beginning of each question. Okay, I've fast forwarded to the final question, the last section of this prison break. Here's our final question. Here are 4 possible answers. Your students have got one of 2 things left. Either they've put all of their prisoners on the correct answer every single time, which would be nice, and they're left with 16 prisoners here in the final question, or, as is much more likely the case, they've got less than that. They've been hedging their bets as the questions have gone by, and they're left with only a few in this final question, perhaps just the 1 from the start of section 8. They've placed them on their placemat as they have done throughout all 8 sections, and let's reveal the final answer. There we go, there's our final answer, and that is the number of prisoners left at the end of the game, and you can work out which team is the winner in the class. And if you've got a joint set of winners, you might want to have a further question, a tie-break question, just to finish that off. Before I finish though, let's have a quick look at the engine behind this quiz. Slide 4. Here's the table that we're using here to generate the quiz. So I've got a table with a set of questions in the first column there. There's my questions in column 1. There's my correct answers in column 2, and then my 3 incorrect answers into columns 3, 4 and 5. So you can cut and paste into this table, or you can type directly into it. You have to use this table, but like I said, you can cut and paste from another table if you've got it elsewhere. Once you've done that, you're ready to go. You can start from the first slide again. As soon as you press on the click here to start, it updates the entire resource so that it's ready to go for your students. There you go then. Tutorial on Prison Break, multi-choice question format from Tutor2You.